If you are finding that your bilge pump just won't quit running and you keep finding water in the bottom of your boat, but you're sure the plugs are in as they should be, and you can't find a crack in your hull, it could be that you have an exhaust leak. So as you know, marine engines are cooled by water, which is brought up from the lake using an impeller that then brings it through the water pump and circulates it through the system, and then it ends up running through the exhaust and out the back of your boat. So when I brought this boat home a week ago, I got it fired up in the driveway using Fake a Lake and was all excited to hear this thing run, and promptly noted that water was squirting out of the rubber downpipe that is supposed to be right here. So if that continued for the summer and I never pulled up this engine cover and looked at it, every time I'm running it, it's discharging water out of the holes that were in this pipe. It's hitting the inside of this engine cover and just falling down to the floor of the boat, which may trick me into thinking I've got a leak from one of the plugs or maybe a crack in the hull, but it turns out it's just a leak in the exhaust. So today we're going to replace the rubber downpipe with one that I ordered online. Before we get going on the repair, I should mention that if you are suspicious that you have an exhaust leak that is discharging water to the bottom of the boat, you can't see the whole system from under this engine cover. You're going to need to pull up the bottom of your boat, which I removed the seat, the lower seat, and you can see the rest of your exhaust system through here. And you can see that I've already removed this rubber downpipe from this side. This one's still connected. And you'll want to inspect this whole area. There's also rubber discharge pipe on these sides that could be leaking as well. So this came in the mail today, and it says Shields Flex 2 Marine Wet Exhaust, made in Italy. We're slowly turning this into a Ferrari. To take off your original rubber downpipe, it's got hose clamps down at the bottom that's under the floor, and then hose clamps up top where it connects to the exhaust manifold. On my boat, there were 2 hose clamps at both ends. I took those off and then tried to wiggle this hose free, and it was so tight I could not get it off. I ended up using a razor blade and cut it through here. And of course, there is a reinforcement wire that runs through this, kind of runs through it in a spiral. So when you make your cut, it's not going to be a perfectly straight cut. You're going to run into that wire. Have a pair of wire cutters handy and then cut that. Don't throw your downpipe away. When you get your new one ordered, you're going to want to measure it up so that it's the same length, and then cut your new one as clean as you can. This new downpipe that I ordered is a 3.5 inch wet exhaust pipe. And I got it through West Marine. They sell it by the foot only. It was $57.99 a foot. So to get it to my door, it was $173.97. And so I'm going to measure this up, cut it, and then we will get to installing it. So this hose is very stiff. It's almost like you got to break it in to get it to work. And I'm not going to be able to get it to just go on here. It's not going to bend. It's got to bend down here at the bottom because this floorboard comes all the way to here. So it needs to be straight and curve up. So what I've done already, I'm going to do it again here, is I'm going to use this exhaust manifold as a lever, get that on there, and work this. The first time I did this, it really was hard to get bending, but you're gonna have a couple creases in there for sure. If you can see the one on that side, it's absolutely creased. So using that exhaust manifold is gonna help. So then I'll be able to get that on there and have it bend. But still, I cannot get it up here. I believe I'm going to end up popping this off, get it sized right, and then use this as a good lever to get it back on that exhaust and then bolt it back in place. It's never as easy as you think it's going to be. So I gave this thing a rest for the evening. Once my muscles started cramping up, I said, it's time for dinner. I'm going to take a rest. But I'm back at it today. I did call the marina mechanic and said, hey, what's your thought of me removing that exhaust manifold riser, because I cannot get this wet exhaust pipe to bend. It's stiff as a board. And he said, yep, 90% of the time, that's how you have to do it. You remove the riser, and that gives you some playroom and some leverage, and that's how you do it. So I'm hoping for 10%. It's a lot better, actually. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, Becky. Well, my concern here is when I put this doghouse back over the engine, there was a separation point that had the hinges on it that was actually screwed down into the hull here, and I don't think it's going to sit across this. So that's going to remain to be seen, but I still have room for some adjustments back and forth here. I can bring this down a little bit. I've just got to get this bent in there better, but man, it's stiff. So I've got the riser gaskets for the exhaust manifold on order with new stainless bolts, and those are supposed to be replaced every few years, and I see evidence of corrosion on that one. So that would be the time to pop those off and get things set right, change out the gasket, and then get that set on there. There's just a lot more leverage up here mechanically than trying to work down here. So I'm positive this is not going to leak. I'm not positive this is going to sit down flush, but we will get that figured out. So what was this? $175 repair? Not bad.